Welcome everybody to Funky Junk Inspiration. My name is Christy and I'm so happy that you're here. I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my channel and don't forget to ring the bell. Today's playlist, Candy Cane Lane, is hosted by Up All Night DIY, Shabby Meets Bling, and Indie Annie Jones. You guys go subscribe to all their channels. They have some amazing things over there. DIY number 1. Alrighty friends, I have this small ornament right here that I had already painted one side of. I took a whole bunch of ornaments the other day that I had cut out on my laser, and I got one side painted. I just haven't had a chance to flip them over. So we're going to flip this over and paint it white. I just wanted to have them ready so that when I see something that I want to make an ornament for, they're already painted. So anyway, we're going to take this sweet little napkin. I love this little napkin. It has 4 panels, actually 8 panels, but 4 different designs on it, and it's absolutely amazing and beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it, especially this little candy cane. So right now I'm just taking my water pencil and I'm going around the edges. Okay, right here I'm going to go ahead and cut out the 3 little pieces of individual candy, but I think we're going to end up separating them when we actually put them on the ornament. Okay, if you guys notice, I've been using a new eraser. That gives me a little more control over my tear, especially when I get a little too much water on my napkin. Okay, in this condiment bottle is just plain old Mod Podge by Plaid. I put it in the condiment bottle. It keeps it a little fresher, easier to control when I dump it out, and all that kind of fun stuff. Now right here I started to just cover the whole ornament with Mod Podge. Then I decided, no, I don't need to do that. I can just lay the napkin on top of there because the napkin's so absorbent, and then just put the Mod Podge on top, which was perfectly fine until I tore my napkin there and had to fix that. Got this piece on up here. It did really well. It folded over on me, actually. But I ended up fixing that. And then we did this one here. I don't know. You guys, I was just having a little bit of trouble decoupaging that napkin on there. I don't know what was going on. But anyway, we finally got it on this side. And I love how that looks. I'm going to go ahead and dry that a little bit right there. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Since I had the 2 panels that were exactly the same, I decided that I would just go ahead and make this a double-sided ornament. That way, you know, if it flips around on the tree or whatever. I don't always do that, but in this instance, I'm going to. So here we go again, putting our candy on. And if you notice, I did put Mod Podge down first. Now I'm just kind of pouncing that napkin down into the Mod Podge. I heated it up a little bit where it had dried, and then I'm putting a little bit over the top. Now I will spray some clear on this so that when people are touching it, doesn't get marked up or anything like that. I'm just kind of sanding the edges a little bit. And if you notice, when I painted, I did get just a little bit of white paint around the edges, but not too bad, but that's okay. Just take your distressing ink and go along the edge or paint the edges, and so that white is not quite so dominant when you see the ornament from the side. Okay, so now we're taking this distressing ink, going around the edges, distressing the whole thing all over the place, because that's the look that I like. I didn't really like the real stark white on there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the top of this ornament up here with just a little bit of jute, just to give it a little bit of a finish there. Stuck some glue up under there so that when I cut this edge off, it's up underneath and not just kind of hanging there. Then I just decided I was just going to use some jute as a hanger. I made the hanger extra long, so if someone, you know, if you end up needing a shorter amount, you can just cut it off. All right, on to DIY number 2. Okay, I have this wire here. It is 18 gauge. It's pretty stiff, but I think it's workable. Okay, so I'm just going to cut 2 pieces. How long? I'm just guessing. I'm guessing they're probably about 1 foot long right there, and I'm going to put that away. Now I'm going to kind of straighten this out just a little bit. And then I'm going to take the end, and I'm going to make a little like eyelet on the end. Basically, I'm just making this so that my beads don't fall off the end. So I'm just kind of twisting that around and turning it, going in pretty much a complete circle. I should have showed you a little bit closer, but basically what it looks like is a little eyelet on the end there. Okay, now I'm going to grab my beads here. I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit. I'm going to take these red beads that have already been painted. And I do have white beads, but I decided that I wanted to use the natural looking beads just because I like that little bit of a grungy, antique-y type of look for my projects. So anyway, so we end up putting 15 beads on here. I went, red, natural, red, natural. Then when I got here to the end, I just cut a little bit of that wire off, and then I took my pliers again and twisted that around just to make a little loop up there at the top so that, the beads don't fall off. And that's all we did there. Okay, so now I'm going to make 2 of these just because, I don't know, I just felt like I needed a pair. So right here I'm going to make 2, so I'm just making another one, again 15 beads. Sorry about that, I had a little bit of frog in my throat. Okay, so anyway, we're just made 2 of them. Now, if you wanted to make these where you intertwined them, like put them together somehow, just don't put the beads on there quite so tight. Leave them a little bit loose so that you could connect them there in the center. Okay, so now we have 2 cute little candy canes. I think these turned out really cute. I'm going to take this ribbon right here that's kind of burlap with a red outside, and I'm just going to make a hanger for this. And again, I'm making it large or long, extra long, just because, I'd rather have somebody have too much at the top to hang on their tree than to not have enough. So I'm just making that a little bit longer. They can always cut it shorter. Now here, I don't know why, but I put it down way too low. So I'm just fixing that and moving that up. Just a little bit of a slip knot up there at the top. And there we go. Aren't those cute? Those would be cute just like that. Now I was trying to decide. I wanted to put bows on here, and I almost used that other material, but I decided to use this silk right here that I've had floating around in my craft room for a while. And if you notice, one end's burgundy and the other end's red, and that's okay with me. Now you could add a bunch more different embellishments here, but I think they look just cute with the little bows, and that's it. All right, I just want to thank my hosts again, Up All Night DIY, Shabby Meets Bling, and Indie Annie Jones for this wonderful playlist. Make sure you go subscribe to their channels and check out all the collaborators and subscribe to them too. DIY number 3. Boy, I've been tongue-tied a lot tonight. Okay, this next thing that we're going to do here is I have this board here. It had a different design on it, and I sanded it off, but I'm going to use my Essential Stencils. Absolutely love Essential Stencils. I am an affiliate for them. I do have a discount code, which is Funky Junk, all one word, where you can save 10% at checkout on anything that they have going on. Okay, so right here, I'm just going to paint this red. I love this red. You guys, this is Rust-Oleum chalked paint that you can buy in the can. I usually buy mine at Menards. And then I put them in FIFO bottles and just keep them like that. It ends up being a lot cheaper buying the big quart size. Well, actually, it's not quite a quart, but buying that size and putting in the FIFO bottles than buying all the small ones. And it is a chalked paint, but it goes on super smooth. I just love it. I like it a lot. So anyway, so we're just going to put that on here, and then we're going to get that good and dry. So all right, so now we've got our board nice and dry. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my stencil brush and I'm going to go along the edges. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I screwed up. This board is going to end up being double-sided, which I make my boards double-sided a lot, but usually have something different on each side. But I did this board on the one side and didn't hit record. So we flipped it over and we're going to do it over again. But I'm going to go around the edges with black. And the reason I'm using my stencil brush is the bristles are super stiff, and it makes it very easy to cover your edges without getting a whole bunch on the sides of your board. Just a little bit. It almost lines it, gives it a little bit of a shadow line already. Now I am going to go around and I'm going to frame in my project. I love doing this. I think it adds something a little bit extra, makes your boards, especially when you have a wood board that doesn't have a frame on it. It kind of frames it in, draws your eye to the actual design, and it makes it look a little more finished, I think. So we're just going to go around with the black here. And if you notice in the corners, I'd get it a little bit darker, and it just kind of adds a shadow effect. And I really like how it usually turns out when we do this. Alrighty. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a chippy brush and I'm just going to put some black all over the whole entire board. Now I'm barely putting anything on there and I'm liking how that looks, but as we go along, it's like, you know what, I think I want want it to be a little bit darker with the black on there. So I end up putting a lot, you'll see how it's getting darker on there. I love doing backgrounds. I could just sit and do backgrounds all the time. I like to make things real super colorful, using lots and lots of different colors, and I just have fun doing backgrounds. So anyway, so here we are. We're just kind of putting that on there and making it kind of look chippy, old, distressed, whatever word you want to use there. All right, we're going to get that good and dry right here. And then the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to take my sander real quick and I'm going to kind of go over it a little bit to calm down those little black spots right there. See that? And I'm just going to go over it and then I'm going to wipe it off. Okay, so now we're just going to line up our stencil on here. Again, this came from Essential Stencil. The pack is actually called Candy Cane Lane. There's another stencil in there. I can't quite remember exactly what was on the other stencil. I can't remember. Okay, so now we're going to take our stencil brush. We put it in some white paint. We got that paint worked up into the bristles. And now we're just kind of dry, offloading it. We want our stencil brush to be almost dry. You guys, we don't want lots of paint on the end of our stencil brush. That is what causes you to have a lot of bleed through. Also, you want to make sure your stencil is nice and flat. I'm kind of holding mine down because my board is warped a little bit. But, and then I just work in a circular motion, just going back and forth, around and around. You want to kind of go different ways and do that. Now, a lot of times when you're working with red, because red is so pigmented, sometimes when you get it wet again, even after letting it sit for a few minutes or even overnight, it does reactivate that paint a little bit. And so sometimes your white starts to turn pink. Okay, so the way to fix that is go over your project once, maybe twice, and then stop. Let it get super dry, get you some more white paint and go over it again. And then it'll, the white paint will really pop. So that's just the nature of the red. The red's been the worst one that I've ever had trouble with on that. So I just wanted to give you that little tidbit there. Also, when you're stenciling, please, please, please don't grit your teeth. If you're gritting your teeth, you're pushing down too hard. Just let the brush do its thing. If your arm gets tired, just stop for a minute. But like I said, what's awesome about the stencils is it actually gives you, see how that turned out? It didn't look like it was covering, but it actually is covering pretty good. So I'm just going to hit a couple more spots there. But anyway, the beauty about stencils is it gives you a finished product. You get your background done, you put it on there, and all the design work was left to someone else. Now we're going to go over the letters here. Now the letters have some very long bridges on them, and that is because it's making the word or the letters to look shadowed. So be super careful with that because you don't want to move those and end up getting paint underneath them. But I'm telling you what, if you get a little bit of bleed through, don't fret. Just sand it a little bit. It's always fixable. You could take an X-Acto knife sometimes and just peel that paint off a little bit after it gets dry. don't sweat the small stuff, ladies. You know, it's not that deep if you get a little bit of bleed through. Nobody's going to notice it, and if they do, what do we say at Funky Junk Inspiration? Someone points out a flaw to you, poop on them, they're not really your friend, right? Okay, so here we go, and now that I've rattled on and got this all done up here, I really considered drying it and going back over the top to really make the white pop. But after I lifted it up and looked at it, I was like, you know what? I really like that. If you notice, I just hold my hand down there and I just lift it up each side just to make sure that I got all the spots that I wanted to get. So there's our Candy Cane Lane sign. Yay! All right, here's our reveal of our 3 projects. Some candy cane decor. You guys, I would love it if you'd subscribe to my channel. And my name's Christy from Funky Junk Inspiration.